Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm your captain, guide, and friend, Dalton Rutlinger. Welcome back to Sailwind, where this time we're going to be doing something that's a little bit different. By now, I'm sure you know the routine. We load into the game, we go over to the trade outpost, we gather up a bunch of stuff, we load it onto the ship, and we go out yonder to deliver the said stuff. Well, in this episode, we're not going to do that. At least not immediately. Because there are a few things that I want to mess around with. You might notice up on top is I've purchased a bunch of stuff. I've purchased a bunch of sealing nails. I have a cutting knife. There's a cutting knife that's just stuck down here permanently for whatever reason I can't get off of. I have a hammer right here. We have a drying rack. We have a kettle. We have a pot. And we have a smoker and a stove, as well as a bunch of firewood, fishing hooks, and a whole crap ton of water, which this water right here is going to be specifically used for the pots and the kettle. I've also done a bit of work. I've made the ship a bit more homely because this is going to be our home for quite some time to come, I imagine. Haven't done a lot here in the captain's cabin, at least not yet, but sooner or later we will flesh this out entirely. Unfortunately, there's not like any shelves aside from these here at Fort Astron, so I kind of have to just make do with what I've got. However, as time goes on, we will make this a bit more of a homely thing. I've even got a few chairs scattered throughout the boat where I can actually, sit down and just enjoy myself while it's raining or nighttime or maybe there's no wind or anything. I've also got a chair over here where I can watch the sunset if I so choose, or the sunrise, or, just I can move it freely around the deck if I so choose. This is the barrel of water that's almost empty, so I'm just going to leave that one out. Below deck, I've done a lot of work. This is going to be my food supply area, or, well, primarily just drink supply area for the time being. Over here on this side, we have a bunch of drinkable water. And then over here on this side, we've got the alcohol. We have got a bunch of barrels of wine, more wine, more wine. And then up here, we have some rum. And then back here, I've done a bit more work with the shelving. The shelves are going to be where, kind of like what I did up here, we're going to place a bunch of barrels up on these things. That way they're not taking up room for crates down here on the deck. Or the cargo hold. So yeah. So this episode is primarily just going to be a cooking episode because I want to kind of experiment around here. I have made stews in the past. I've also got a bunch of salt. I don't think I pointed this out, but I've got a crap ton of salt here. And yeah, I want to just kind of experiment around with the cooking and the drying, because I've never actually used the drying racks. A few people have told me in the comment section that they're kind of a waste of money, but I've already gone through so much. What else am I going to spend the money on? So yeah, let's go ahead and we'll grab a crate here. And I think for starting off, what we'll do is we'll grab some vegetables. Some fruits and vegetables. Because something that I've never actually done before was, well, I tried it in the past, but I didn't get too far into it, was I tried just buying things, from the stands themselves instead of buying, crates of things. So, excuse me. I'm going to buy pretty much everything off this table. And that's probably enough apples. What I really want are the vegetables. Okay, yeah, so 1 stack of vegetables per row, I think should be fine. Because I don't really want to just continuously be eating, you know, smoked food that I buy in crates. I want to actually get a bit more involved with the game here by, you know, cooking and everything. So let's go ahead and take this crate back. So can I dry an entire thing of... I guess I'll just go and take the carrots out since... I don't really know much about cooking. So I might be doing this completely wrong. But I would assume this would be possible. I might have to like cut these up into slices. I don't think potatoes are something you actually have to dry, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. Why not? All right, now, I'll put the apples down here with the carrots. All right, so with that out of the way, I'll go and grab some other things. Right now, we're just experimenting. I want to turn the brig into like an actual home. Alright, so let's go ahead and buy some raw meat. We can cook this at a later date. This will need to be salted, however. Maybe some lamb? Okay, and what I can do is I can actually run away to the opposite side of the market. And then turn around and run back. And that should make his stuff spawn in again. On this occasion, no, it did not. Maybe I have to go back to the actual boat. Unless maybe it's just a time thing. That's definitely possible, but in my experience, just running back to the boat typically works. Get on the boat. Run back. No. Okay, so I'm guessing it is just a time thing. All right, so let's buy a couple of sausages then. And you know what? I will also buy a bottle of wine. That way I have something aside from just my water bottle whenever I'm eating lunch. There's also all this coffee I need to buy and the tea. Alright, let's run back, although I will get a bottle of water real quick. Whoops. You can have this back. Thank you for your business. Boing, boing, boing. Alrighty. So first things first, I imagine what I want to do with the meat. How's this going? Everything's still fresh. Alright, so let's start off with the pork. Yeah, you know what, just get everything out. Alright. Now then. Salt, 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 salt. Oh! The salt definitely doesn't last very long, does it? Right, so those will last for a while. Yeah, salt goes by pretty quick. Right now, if I wanted to, say, make a stew, yeah, I have a feeling maybe it'd be better if I move these around. Right, so let's go ahead and fill the pot up with water. Let's see, what do I want to put in there? Maybe some pork? Oops. Okay, for the time being, let's go ahead and fill up this crate again, because everything's salted, which means it should be fine. Whoops. Gosh darn it, stop doing that. You know what, I'll get the wine out here. Stop it. Maybe I just need to start kind of... There we go. All right, so let's grab a couple of carrots, some cucumbers, and maybe I should go ahead and just start putting some firewood in here. Oh man, that's gonna suck. I have to pick up every single individual slice. So yeah, we'll have like a pork and vegetable stew, I suppose. And the thing about soups is I don't think they actually burn. And in fact, you know what? Screw it. Let's throw some potatoes in there too. Awesome. All right, I'm going to take the wine down here. And I think you can actually fill bottles with soups. So let's find an actual bottle that would work for such a thing. Maybe I could use one of the honey beers. No idea. I guess I could just go ahead and get another bottle of water. That should work just fine. Okay. And while I'm here, let's go ahead and buy some coffees and some teas. All right, is there a different type of tea? Oh, that's coffee. Wait. Yeah, fine. I think that should be enough. Assuming this ship customization works just fine, I doubt I'll be going back to the shipyard except to repair and clean the hull. Now, one thing that's actually kind of cool is you can actually put the stove and the kettle on at the same time. And I imagine you could probably also put some other stuff on there. Now, I'm going to run and get the other stuff, so I'll be right back. Oh, well, this is handy. You can actually carry these in your inventory. Let's go and get that other coffee. Cool. You know what? Maybe I should actually get a pipe and some tobacco. I'll think about it. Because honestly, it kind of seems like it would be fitting to, like on a quiet day, just like sit here in this chair and just kind of gaze out at the sea, just smoking a pipe. All right, so did the fire go out? Looks like it. I'm going to assume that is ready then. Ah, no, you can't actually use a bottle. I think you actually have to drink from the pot. Unless maybe I can use a mug. No. Oh, that's kind of a shame. I was kind of hoping you could actually, like, carry it around in a bottle or something. Well, you know what? I'm thirsty and hungry enough, so... Huh. Alrighty then. So how are you guys doing? You're still fresh. Okay, maybe I do actually have to slice these up. Hello, there's a carrot that fell down here. Oh, come on. Stay, please. Thank you. Let's do that. Do that. Do that. Oops. Where's my lantern for down here? There's one here. I thought I had one... Strange. Yeah, that lights it up just fine. Right. Actually, can I put the salt in my... Yes, I can. All right. Well, I guess I'll go to bed and we'll see how well all this stuff is in the morning. So, nighty night. Good morning, everybody. I just finishing off the last of that stew. Whoops. Hang on a second. So, do you not fill up the kettle with water then? Unless maybe... you have to actually fill it up with the barrel. Okay, well, I guess let's do some more cooking then. Let's fill this up. This time I'm going to try just putting in things whole. Oops. Let's put in a carrot. Let's put in, I think, 2 potatoes this time. And then a cucumber. So boink, boink, and boink. Oh, you know what? Maybe I could actually drink the tea and coffee from a mug. Or maybe even put it in another bottle. Alright, well that's doing that. I'm going to come over here and sell this barrel of salt back to the vendor. I don't think they're open yet, though. Nope. I'll just have to sit around and wait for a little while then. Admittedly, I could go ahead and buy the dinghy here, because I think you can actually attach it to the back of... Oh, I don't get anything back for it. That's kind of a shame. I would say you could attach it to the back of the brig, but I don't have the attachment for it. I wonder if this thing whistles. I'll give it a little bit longer just to find out, I suppose. Tell you what, while we're waiting on that to finish, let's go ahead and start smoking some actual food here. So we have some lamb, and we have some pork. No. And just for the sake of experimentation, let's go ahead and try putting okay, so you can actually put another deal of meat on the stove if you so desire. It's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and... I was going to say let's relight the fire, but I guess you can't. Oh, hello. I left the lanterns on. That's not good. Let's go ahead and refill those. That leaves me with 81% left. Yeah, you really don't go through oil very quickly in these, do you? That's still at 100%. That's fine. I'm going to assume that these are done. So let's see here. Ooh. I actually have a mug of coffee. Now, if only I was thirsty, I could actually drink it. Get a few thumbnails here. So these are still fresh. I wonder if the shadow of the mast has anything to do with drying. Surely not. Surely the game doesn't configure that into anything. You know what? You can be for the fishes. Oh, I guess while we're waiting around, the only thing to really do is just to start looking into missions. I don't know if I'm going to bother with trade for a little while because I've got more than enough money to get whatever the heck I need. And I really need to start working on reputation because I don't think I'm going to be able to get anywhere else in the world until I get up to 60,000. So and I think the best way to do that would be to go from Mount Malefic to probably Astra Abbey. Right, doing 10 days. Doing 10 days. 10 days. 10 days. So is there anything like... Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's all the missions I can take right there. Salmon, salmon. Salmon, salmon. Salmon. Trout. 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 Leather. 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 Mail. More salmon. Tools. 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 And more tools. All right. I think I'll start off by putting the leather back here. And we can also put the mail back here as well. That way it's nice and protected. There we go. All right, where are the tools? There they are. So last night, I actually watched The Secret of Nim for the first time. Apparently that was a lot of people's like childhood movie. And you know what? It wasn't a bad movie. It was definitely ahead of its time in a lot of things. That'll work. um... Alright, let's go ahead and refill up the smoker. And then cut up the box into more firewood. Cool. And I think we'll just go ahead and get underway. I still have enough food in reserve. I've still got these 2 crates of food here that I can use to, you know, refill my hunger and everything, so. And I've got more than plenty of water and wine and whatnot, so. Although, before we do, let's go ahead and run back here to the trading outpost. We might as well take some sort of trade good with us. Let's see. Mount Malefic could do with some cider, so there's that. Oranges? No. Cheese? No. Rice? No. Cave mushrooms? Maybe. Pork? No. Sausages? No. Leather? Ooh. Okay, we'll keep leather in mind. Green tobacco, tools. Goods. Oh, I completely forgot about logs. Sculptures. No. I suppose what I could do, because we're going by there anyway, is I could drop off some logs at Firefly Grotto. Sure. I'll take 1 load of logs. Forgot to check how much these things actually weigh. 1,800 pounds. So they are definitely not light. Alright, we can just put the logs kind of up here. Gotta love how our character can just pick up logs willy-nilly like that. Alright, so the wind is not blowing, so that's kind of putting a damper on my plans. Can I put coffee back inside the actual kettle? No. It's kind of a shame. My coffee's going to be cold. Alright, let's come up here and... Ah, I see. Right, yeah, it's turned all the way over. I'm not sure how much good that square cell up there is actually going to be doing. I'll probably just use this as a way to just kind of get out of the port. Like nice and steadily, and then just reel it in. Like so. Alright, so the wind is blowing from that direction. Which is pretty much, once again, more or less the direction we need to go in. Right, so you are not going to be the same. Over here, though. Oh, looky there, I can actually... with the exception of this one barrel up here, the mass actually clears everything. Right, where is the... Nice. Actually, I probably should turn a bit more out this way. Jeez. You guys sure are taking a while to cook. And we are on our way once again. Oh yes, happy Veterans Day, everybody. I forgot it was Veterans Day. You know, I'm just going to run around the ship for a little bit and wear down my thirst bar. If I can. Just so I can drink the coffee out of that mug. Though at this point, it's definitely going to be cold. Maybe it'd be better off just dumping it out. And apparently it is very... very quenching. Alright, you know what? Just to... ensure this stays warm. I'm just going to continue putting more and more firewood into the stove. Speaking of cooking, you know, I actually made spaghetti last night. And it turned out to be pretty good. I know spaghetti is like one of the easiest things to make, but wouldn't mind tooting my own horn, like, just for once. Because I don't just make it, you know, just plain. I actually put a few seasonings into it. You know, I'll even season the water that I'm boiling the noodles in and stir it around. Perhaps I should just go to bed and drink this whenever I wake up. It might work for the best. Yeah, I'll just go to bed, and I'll see you guys in the morning. It looks like the wind has died down, and these still are not cooked. Can you just not smoke salted meat? Is that what's going on? Well, I guess what I could do is I could climb up here. How does the boat look whenever it's fully illuminated, or almost fully illuminated? Not too bad. That's where we're trying to get to over there. But there's just no wind. Well, I guess I'll see you guys here in a minute whenever the wind picks up, because right now there's just not really a lot happening. Or maybe I won't. That was fast. Well, you know what? I'll have some morning wine, I think. There's a barrel right there. Okay. It's not very quenching, but it's nice to have, if nothing else. Alright, the wind is blowing in a somewhat more favorable direction. Can't really tell what direction exactly, but it was blowing over here, so let's start turning over here. Once I get pointed in the general right direction, I will check the actual direction the wind is truly blowing. Right. I think we might actually be able to lower down the square sails on this occasion. And over here, we can raise you up. Then we can lower you. And lower you. Let's see here. Where is... Here we go. All right. I don't really see the point in burning any more oil because I've got all the lanterns down. Or not lanterns, just sails. Yeah, it looks like the sun's coming up, so yeah. Whoops. I keep forgetting you can't do it with the actual kettle. You have to actually use the barrel. But you can do it with the pot. Alright, let's see here. I think this time I'm actually going to put some tea in here. I'm burning through firewood here, I know, but it's not like it's expensive, and it's not like there's a plentiful supply of it, so... Oops. I think I want to ride up here. for the time being. This would be kind of a fun ride. I might have to just get rid of this square cell because it's obstructing a lot of the view. Alright. Let's fill up our mug. Let's have some nice hot tea. And as you can see, it also increases our energy bar, so it's a good thing to keep on hand in the event that you're, you know... Actually, can I fill up the bottle? No, mugs only by the looks of it. And I can't drink directly from the kettle either. Man, you are... I don't think you can actually smoke this stuff because I've wasted, like, huge amounts of wood on this salted meat now. I'll give it one more go, but after this, I'm just going to put it back into the crate. Or maybe just keep it hanging there. I'll eat it eventually, I'm sure. Alright, let's go ahead and loosen you up as well. That way you can just freely move in any direction the wind decides to start blowing. She is a beaut, isn't she? She's absolutely a beaut. Alright, let's clean the captain's cabin a little bit. Whoa. No! Actually, I think the wind might have died down. No? Yeah, the wind did die down. Alright, so let's just raise up the sails again then. It's actually kind of funny because, like, whenever I'm on the brig, the wind dying down doesn't really bother me so much, but whenever I was on the cog, it really started to annoy me. Maybe it's just because I have a lot more to do on the brig. There's more room for me to maneuver around and all that kind of stuff. I don't really have a problem with the cargo bay being dirty. I never really go down there aside from whenever I'm loading up cargo. And I can just clean it whenever I'm, you know, at the shipyard or whatever. Alright, well, that was fast. The wind started blowing again, so let's get underway again. Oh yes, I also bought a few more tools. With this thing, what I can do is I can actually come down here to the balcony, and we can measure our speed, see how fast we're going. Right now, we're trying to get up to about 7 knots. Without a main sail, this thing might not, or a main mast, this thing might not get up to be super quick. Truth be told, I did think about just like putting 3 masts on and just using nothing but gaff sails and stay sails. I hear a whale. Oh, now that's... Oh, no. No, 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 no. That will not do. That will absolutely not do. Mm-mm. think I preferred the other... shrouds. Whales are out there having fun. Game volume was a little low. Ah, yes, I also bought a sun compass. The sun compass, for anybody who's unaware, is basically a quadrant but for during the daytime. It'll tell you your latitude at high noon. Which, honestly... that's pretty much right now. Not quite. Yeah, latitude 20 or thereabout. Ah, here we go. So it did actually work. It just took a lot of firewood to do. Oops. Uh-oh. Rotten lamb. Even whenever it's been salted. Probably means that sausage isn't too far away from going bad either. Hmm. Every time I see someone named Ozzy on the Discord for Sailwind, I automatically just think of Ozzy Osbourne. The reason I didn't put 3 masts on here is because another mast is just going to interfere with, the cargo area. But I think I definitely preferred the loadout I had before with those particular types of shrouds. That way, like, the gaff sails could swing out as far out as they needed to, and I could just use the square sails for going, like, straight downwind. Because this is, not liking that, but I can fix it whenever we get back to Fort Astron. For right now, it's not a huge problem. But hello. Ah, okay, so the apples are finally dried. What about you? No, you're just a regular old apple. I don't know. I was kind of excited to do the whole cooking thing, and then it just kind of didn't turn out to be what I was really hoping for. Maybe I would be better off just sacking a whole bunch of preserved food down here and keeping the top deck clear for other things. Although, it does give me something else to do whenever I'm at port. Like, whenever I'm just playing by myself. I can kind of just start preparing all the food for the journey off camera or something, and then whenever I'm finally ready to start recording the video, I can, do it then. It looks like we might have some difficulty getting into the grotto here, because the wind is blowing from the direction I'll be entering into. How much time do we have left? We still have 9 days. There we go. Now, well, I guess I could always just look at that telltale up there, but just for the sake of it. Of course, there is always a chance that if the gaff sail is blowing in the right, if the wind is blowing in the right direction, the gaff sail will be obstructing it, so. Having this one here definitely won't hurt anything. You know what? Why am I just standing here? I've got a chair over here that I specifically bought to just kind of stare out at the sunset. Yeah, I think these shrouds are definitely going to be leaving, as they're obstructing my view. And there's our ultimate destination, way down there. Alright. Let's see if we can spot the entrance. Not at the moment. I might have to actually just anchor out there by those rocks and then wait to go in. Because I don't think the wind is going to be blowing in a very favorable condition for me to actually enter into the cave. I think I am starting to get the wind figured out, though. Whenever we're over here, the wind typically blows in that direction. Whenever we get towards Sunspire, the wind will kind of blow towards Mount Malefic. And whenever we get to Fort Astron, the wind will blow to the east. So I guess for future reference, what I need to do is I need to actually, whenever I want to come to Firefly Grotto, I need to actually come from that direction over there, which means I have to sail by that shipwreck. And Susie girl here, she's not gonna like that sight. Right, well, I don't know how much you guys can see, so I'll just join you guys whenever visibility becomes a bit better. Alright, good morning, everybody. I think for breakfast today, I'm actually going to have... Oh, yeah, so the salted stuff really hurts your thirst. Holy crap. Just get rid of those. Alright, so... I guess just finish off that soup. Alright, so... Oh, look. Looks like the wind is blowing more favorably now. I did drop anchor last night. I don't think the anchor reached the bottom of the ocean, but... Actually, I don't think I need to worry about the gaff sails at the moment. I think what I can actually do is I can just use the square sails. Although, ooh, I can see where this is going to cause a problem. As a matter of fact, you know what? Maybe it would be better just to use the gaff sails. Okay, there we go. Just swing them out as wide as we can. Yeah, honestly, just based on this view right here, very tempted just to get rid of the square sails. Or bare minimum, just go back to that previous load configuration that I had. Because, not really digging this one. I've been told that you can actually use the square sails for like upwards of 90-degree rotation. Thing is, like, I never really like doing that. So I feel like I'm really pushing my luck whenever I do that. On top of that, like, I just like the look of the gaff sails. It's just a personal taste. I personally just think the gaff sails just look completely freaking badass. I think I prefer the gaff sails from the All-Lonk region, though, from Gold Rock City. But the gaff sails are they're just so much more useful than the square sails. At least in my eye. There is a mod on the Discord that allows you to install any sail from anywhere in the world at any of the shipyards, but I don't think I'm going to bother installing that one. I find that to be maybe a little too cheaty. If you want particular types of sails, you should definitely have to go to that particular region where they're more commonly used. I wonder if I could actually turn around in here. Not with just the helm, though. I would have to actually, like, sail the ship out a ways, grab the opposite side ropes, and then use that rope to wheel it around. You could probably turn around in here with a sandbuck, but there's just no way with the brig. Yoink. Alright, let's go ahead and raise you up. Let's raise you up. Let's get you in your natural or neutral positions. Come back up here. Let's hard to port. And actually, I tell you what, I'll use this to kind of help turn me into the dock. I think I might have to actually use the gaff sail. Or is it because the wind just died down? That is definitely a real possibility, that the wind just died down. No, the wind did not die down. So why are you not turning? Turn, please. Yeah, no, like, it's, like, I'm looking at the bowsprit. It's barely moving at all. Maybe if I were to use this. And then the staysail? No. Okay, then. I guess I'll just act as a tugboat, then. I forgot you could do this. You can actually, like, throw the anchors overboard yourself. You are not wanting to turn at all, are you? Ah, dang it. It's already 11:30. I'm going to have to wrap it up here. I was hoping I could make it to Fort Eastern, but I don't think that's going to happen. I guess I could just pause the video and come back later. What's the video up to now? 1 hour and 44 minutes. I think that's long enough, but I don't know. I guess if I want to have a shot of turning around and going back out the way that I came in, this would be a good enough place to park. Right, I don't really need to worry about the wagon at the moment because I'm just delivering these logs that I can magically pick up. There you go. Enjoy. Right, so how much is iron going for at Mount Malefic? Not too bad. Sulfur is better. What about marble? Just out of curiosity. No, they're taking marble too. Actually, is there anything else? They want trout. But honestly, I kind of want to deliver... Oh, heck, just buy all of it. Alright, let's see here. Something tells me I might have made these... Might not have made the gap between these shelves big enough. Can a barrel even fit up here? Technically yes, but not comfortably. So maybe what I need to do instead is just kind of bring them down more like this. And this is exactly why I got these shelves. Oh, yeah, it's pretty clear that the spacing is not correct for them, so... Oh well, I'm going to... Am I going to call it a video here, or am I just going to pause the video? I think I'll just pause. We'll continue on here in a minute, but for me it's probably going to be like several hours. Alright, I have returned after, like, 5 hours. Let's see. Is there anything that I should really, like, top up while I'm here? Don't think so. I've got plenty of water, plenty of beer. Oh, really, I don't have any beer. I just have wine and rum. Yeah, while I'm here, I'll just go ahead and buy some more firewood, because why not? You seem to go through this stuff pretty quickly, so might as well buy it while I'm here, while I'm thinking about it, while it's here in my face. Now, if this would like to cooperate, that would be nice. There we go. Alright, that is everything. And yes, the game crashes whenever you leave it for too long. And I'm back. Yeah, if you leave the game paused for too long, with these mods installed and the game decides it wants to save, it just crashes for whatever reason. Thankfully, the save actually goes in before anything bad happens. And you don't lose, you know, however minutes of progress that you had. Thankfully, in my case, I only have like 5 minutes of progress lost just because with the mods installed, it makes saving extremely choppy. Right, I think I was actually going to try and sell out of there, but ultimately we kind of end up going in the same direction. So I guess it's kind of irrelevant where we go here. Well, it's not irrelevant. I don't want her to see the shipwreck. Yeah, well. Death comes for us all. There's no point in trying to delay it. No point in trying to run from it. I actually heard an ad play. It's been a while back. I don't remember everything the ad said, but the small part that I did listen to, this was on the radio, mind you. Like, I was just kind of, I think I was in work. Like, we were going from one route to another in the truck, and the the ad on the radio came on, and it said something along the lines of, like, you remain dead for a lot longer than you live. It's like, doy, I guess? Like, a human can live, I think the longest human lived for like 130 years or something like that. But give or take, you know, like, the longest you'll live for is maybe 100 years. And then that's it. Like, how many billions of years have gone by? Not just counting Earth's history, but heck, not even the history of our own solar system. Some scientists claim that the universe is 14 billion years old. I'm like, how in the world could you possibly know that? One name recommendation from Coupling Rhino for the ship is Brigney. Like Brittany, but it's Brigney. That's funny. Maybe I should install the character model mod. What that mod does is it gives your character a model. So instead of it just being, you know, the helm controlling itself, there would actually be a character model standing here where I'm at. Alright, so can we actually fit through... Yeah, we shouldn't have a problem. I mean, we could fit through over there. We had plenty of room last time. Oh, but man, I gotta take the ship, like, right next to the wreck, though. Aw. Look over there. You don't want to see what's over there. Don't worry, girl. I will make sure nothing like that happens to you. I will be dead and gone before anything like that ever happens to you. Let's go and turn on the lanterns. Oh, I'm yawning. If you're wondering what I was doing while I was gone, well, number one, it's none of your business. But number two, all I was really doing is I just kind of doing some house chores. Since I'm on vacation, I'm trying to do some work around the house. Not aiming for spotless or anything like that, just trying to make it look, you know, more presentable. Are we going to clear that? I do not think we're going to clear that. Hold on, girl. I'm coming to rescue you. There we go. Man, she looks so cool when she's illuminated like this. Somebody did ask me if I plan on buying the Jong whenever I eventually get to Firefish Lagoon, and the answer to that is absolutely yes. Thing about the brig is, like, yeah, I'm loving her right now, but I have never, ever, ever, ever bought the Jong, and I really want to get my hands on it, and I figured this playthrough would be a perfect time to do it because... Well, I mean, when else am I going to do it? I have thought about, like, starting up another, what do you call it, a tea merchant series at some point in the future. Because that was a very fun series, but I need to get to... And I'll probably also do it with the Scattered Seas mod installed as well. Just to add a bit more challenge, and I think the only thing I'll really be able to sell at that point will really just be tea. It's going to be annoying because I'm going to have to start off in the Cacum again, but it is what it is. And honestly, I imagine I'll probably be transporting a lot of tea even in this thing once I actually find the Dragon Cliffs. Alright, well, we are pointing in the right direction, so I'm going to turn off the lanterns and I'll get a little drink, I suppose. If I can find... There we go. really need to install a lantern down here so I can actually see what's down here. Here we go. Alright, I shall see you guys in the morning. Oh, hey, check this out. Woke up right next to Bone Isle. There's Bob up there. Up there just hanging out. I wonder if those shelves are still there. I would stop and go say hi. I would stop and go say hi to Bob, but he's extremely antisocial. He doesn't like a lot of visitors on his island. He told me maybe one time per month, and that's about as often as I can see him. And it's only been like not even a week since the last time I stopped at his island, so don't worry, Bob. I'll stop and see you again at some point. If not to see you, I'll stop and make sure those shelves are still there. Maybe even come back and take them off the lighthouse so no one comes up there and disturbs you. Although I want to leave like some sort of, mark that someone has been there. You know what I mean? Yeah, in the Halloween special video that I did or the final video of the Cacum challenge that I did, there was actually somebody who commented like, normal people when they see a ghost, ah! Dalton whenever he sees a ghost, come here, little ghosty. Frantically tries to get up to the very top of the lighthouse. I got a good laugh out of that, I really did. Well, shall we brew some morning coffee? I think that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, see, I got a lot of water up here, but you go through water pretty quick with these kettles and whatnot. Fill it with coffee. And, oh, you have nothing in you, so I'll just go ahead and put something in you. There we go. I think one piece of firewood should be enough. Alright, how's the wind looking, by the way? Is the wind looking... Yeah, we should be catching a decent amount of wind with these gaff sails. Oh yeah, not a problem. We're just going to continue steaming on by Bob's Island. Not going to bother him at all whatsoever. If I could put bells on this thing, I might like ring a bell whenever I'm going by and just, let Bob know I'm thinking of him. Oh, hey, look at this. Dried carrots, dried cucumber. I don't know why the apple got over there, but somehow it did. And the wind suddenly just died down. Oh well, not to worry, we got plenty of provisions on us. Oh, right, also. Let's see here. Where do I want to... I guess I'll sit over here and just kind of watch the island go by while I'm drinking my coffee. Yeah, it is starting to smoke, so... I will assume that is good enough. Alright, let's come down here. Let's sit on our chair and just... Oh, was that it? Fine, I guess I'll finish it off. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's refill the stove. Can I? Yes, I can. Oh, wow, and you get a lot of firewood from the barrels. Alright, so there's that. There's that. And there's that. Oh, yeah. Lots of firewood here. You know what? Let's go for some tea this time. Right, and you know what? While I'm thinking about it, let's start preparing our... Whoa, we can actually put 20 in there. Holy crap. Let's start preparing our stew. Right, so maybe like just a vegetable stew? Although, who am I kidding? I'd want some meat in my stew, personally, so... There we go. Some vegetables are okay by themselves. Others, not so much. Carrots are okay so long as they have ranch. And cucumbers... Never really been huge on cucumbers myself. Of course, I've always been kind of a picky eater, so... I'm not proud of that fact. Can I put salt in the... technically, I can put salt in the stew. Just not the way I had expected. Yeah, I suppose for like roleplay purposes, something else I could do with the stove is I could put one like down here in the captain's cabin, and just use it as a way of, you know, staying nice and warm on cold nights or something. Could put like a stove somewhere like back here in the corner or something, and just stay in here whenever it's raining or has other bad events going on. And I realize it's really not a good thing to keep your cooking supplies up there, because in the event it starts raining, it's just going to ruin everything, but thankfully the game doesn't take that into account. Otherwise, yeah, everything would be in here. Aside from maybe the drying rack. Actually, you know, something I could do. I could put the stove and the smoker down here, like on the balcony. That way the smoke has plenty of room to escape, and it's just going to go out there behind the boat. That could be interesting. Could be very interesting. Alright, I believe we are actually... We might be in a position where we can just start using the square sails here. So I guess let's just go ahead and start doing that. Problem with the square sails is if the wind starts blowing in the opposite direction, it'll just stop the entirety of the ship's momentum. I think it'd be better to have the knife pointing in that direction. That way I don't have to like reach across the table to grab it. Yeah, as far as modding goes, I think maybe even having like silverware and plates and bowls and, you know, things that you can like place on the table and just kind of sit down here in the cabin, you know. You have your knife over here and you can just, you know, put the bowl down here and start drinking away from the soup. I'm just trying to think of roleplay purposes, you know. Sometimes it's the smallest things that you wouldn't even think of that actually make the biggest changes. Alright, well, you know what? Let's have a nice tea while we sit down and just kind of look out at the ocean. That doesn't feel like 3. That feels an awful lot like just 2. I can't tell if this is like an actual special mug or if this is just... I mean, it looks like it should be special. Wait. No, that was 3. Yeah, what if I put an apple in here? And just keep that fire going. Yeah, with the pot and the kettle, you go through water like there's no tomorrow. Which is why I divided the water between drinking water and cooking water. You know, I'm actually kind of curious now. Can I, like, do anything with wine? I've got plenty of wine down here to experiment with, I suppose. It's not like I'm gonna run out of food anytime soon. I've still got, like, all this smoked stuff down here. Right, you know, with the wind completely at our back, let's check our speed now. Hi-yah! About 7 knots. It's really not that great, is it? That stew is looking like it's about ready. You know what? I'm gonna start casting out some fishing lines. And we can start doing some experimentation with the fish that we catch. Oops. Right, the wind is blowing that direction. Let's loosen up the square sails to face the wind as best as they can. Still have a pretty good long way to go until we reach Mount Malefic. Ah, here we go. One fish has been caught. It will be nice when we finally get to an area that's more than just these temple fish, though. And it stole my hook, because of course it did. Oh, bastard. Alright, so 3 slices of temple fish. I think I'll go ahead and put these on the drying rack. I wonder if you can smoke... You can, actually. Interesting. I might have to do some more experimentation with that as well. Uh-oh. Okay, the wind stopped. Let's reel all these up before they cause a problem. I really wish I could get rid of this stupid thing. I might have to just move the mast. There's a big old whale over there. I might have to just move the mast in order to get this thing free. Alright. I did like nothing for the... Oh, you know what? Maybe it was just, maybe I just put hot water in there and I didn't put anything else in there. Numerous whales. More coffee. You know what? Before this goes bad, just go and put that in there, and I'll also go and put the temple fish. And you know what? I'll also put the last cucumber. And the last carrot. Oh, pot is full. Okay. I'll give those plenty of time to boil or whatever, and I might just see you guys in the morning. Because I suspect we're in for a long night of basically nothing. Just go ahead and reel this up just because it's Not going to be doing me any good. Although, having said that, I might be able to get some form of movement with the sails all the way in. Whoa! That was literally right next to us. Right, yeah, I'll see you guys in a minute. Well, looks like the sun is trying to come up. If I look over there at the left-hand side of the screen, we can see the lights of Sunspire. Alright, I think the wind should be blowing at a good enough angle. I can just release the gaff sails almost completely. Alright, let's have some of this soup. Nice. I'm sure the smell of that soup is probably driving this character crazy all night. Right. Let's go and turn off this lantern. Don't really need it. And honestly, getting to the point, I don't really need this one either. You know, I haven't seen a single other boat this entire time. There's no AI boats out here at all. Which means I am literally the only vessel that is transporting goods from one port to another. Maybe I should start visiting, like, all the ports. Like, bringing food and water and other goods to them. I mean, that would certainly help build up the reputation a little bit. I mean, to be fair, we have the farming settlement right here, so I can literally, like, take missions to deliver food to every one of the islands. Or almost all of them. Well, the ones that I don't cover, I can actually just kind of do some trading missions for. And, that would definitely help out. It'd definitely be a bit more realistic. Because, like, Fay Valley, for example, admittedly, that's also another food grower. But Fay Valley is just, like, literally over in that direction. In fact, I think I can actually see it. Yeah, it's over there. And I'll be honest with you, I'm actually kind of debating, instead of just going straight to the dock, maybe it would be better to swing out this way, go past the dock a little ways, and then start turning into the island. That way, I'm not parking facing that way, and I have to do a U-turn. I can just park and then just depart into the general direction of where I need to go. Pretty much just right off the bat. You know what? Some fish is gonna have an apple for the first time in its life, and it's never gonna get another apple, like, ever. And it's gonna be wondering what that was that it ate. Probably be searching its entire life to find what he ate again, and it'll never find one. I think the wind has actually died down. A considerable amount. It's not quite dead, but it definitely is thinking about it. Oh, wow, look at that. Part of me really wants to climb up to the very top of Mount Malefic. I almost said Mount Everest. No, I would rather not climb up to the very top of Mount Everest. That sounds like a very bad idea. If I recall correctly, Nepal is actually debating just closing the mountain down completely because so many people have died on the mountain that it's just become a festering pot for disease. And there's no way of getting the bodies off the mountain either. Some of them are probably just completely frozen in place, if not most of them. Would I like to go see Mount Everest? Absolutely. Would I mind like going to like the very foot of it and just kind of like seeing how big it actually gets? Sure. But going all the way up to the very tippy top of it? No. Why is the wind actually blowing? Okay. So if I were to actually start making the turn here in a little bit, I would actually have a favorable wind to get to the dock, but not quite yet. In fact, actually, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no. That's not catching any wind at all. There we go, that's a bit better. I was actually wanting to refill my energy bar a bit more than that, but fine game. Apparently I've had too much to drink. Let's see, I think if I were to start making that turn now, I think I would be relatively fine. Alright, let's turn into the wind. You know what? I think I will climb up to the very tip-top of Mount Malivik. And just see what all is going on. Okay, yes, we are turning. Just doesn't really look like it. But if you focus on the bit of land over there, just kind of watch it slowly come into screen. We are indeed turning. Not very quickly. This is what I mean whenever I say the brig has a turning circus. Turning radius of a train. And there was somebody who actually recommended that I play Derail Valley. I have that game, and I used to actually play it on the channel. I suppose that could work. The only issue with that game is just the the rail management. And by that, I mean, like, you can't just, you know, load up your cargo and go. You have to find, like, the proper railroad track and sort out the cars. Make sure you have the right car numbers and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty intuitive, to be fair. There's a lot more involved in Derail Valley than there is in Sailwind. Sailwind is pretty straightforward. Derail Valley, there's a whole other management system that you have to deal with. But you can buy, well, you can't buy the locomotives themselves, but you can purchase licenses to allow you to drive? Is that the proper terminology for locomotives? Is driving the locomotive? Like, you don't drive a ship, for example, you sail a ship. Okay, I don't think we're turning anymore. I think we're pretty much just stuck dead in the water now. So in that case, let's just jump down here and push the boat into port. Or, you know, push the boat to a reasonable angle to start catching wind again. Let's loosen you. Tighten you. Alright, let's even out the rudder and see how we are approaching here real quick. I don't have my spyglass with me. How foolish. Yeah, we are more or less headed straight for the dock, which is fine. Let's even these out, put them into the neutral position. The gaff sail's already in that position, so I don't have to worry about that. This is kind of why I'm debating just getting rid of the square sails, is because, like, you will always use the gaff sails. The square sails will only be used if the wind is blowing more or less directly with you. It'll make the ship slower, but at the same time, it'll be more efficient. Because you won't have as much weight on the boat. Because every single one of these sails adds on more weight. And admittedly, something I could do, I never thought about this before, but I could put a mainmast here with a lateen sail, and then have gaff sails on the mizzen and the frontward masts. I wonder how that would look. I'll have to experiment with that whenever I get back to Fort Astron, which I don't know if I'll do on screen or not. Sometimes I like playing this game while watching a podcast or watching another video or whatnot, and I don't know if I'm going to bother getting up to, 60,000 reputation whenever I'm only at 14,000 on camera. I don't think that's going to happen, because by the time I finally get there, you guys will be so sick and tired of seeing this region. I'm not even going to mention what that rock looks like. Raw Lion has a very, very dirty mind. You know for a fact that he made that and saw that at that particular angle, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to keep that. That was entirely intentional. Alright, let's go ahead and start raising up the gaff sails. We'll rely on the staysail to get us into port for the time being. Dock, port, whatever. Yeah, honestly, I don't know if there actually is like a legitimate port in this game. A port to me is something that you would sail into and has like very specific parking locations for ships of various sizes. Whereas this is more of a just park wherever you feel like. Park wherever is available. I think ports are also somewhat protected from open waters, whereas this is not protected at all. The only thing that prevents the water from getting real nasty here is the fact that the water here is fairly shallow. Alright, let's raise up the staysail. I'm kind of curious how this would look from shore. A grand old sight is what it looks like. Of course, in real life, the sailors wouldn't really get off the ship to moor to these things. They would kind of pull up close by to the island and then throw the ropes onto people who are waiting here on the dock, and then the guys on the dock would tighten the ropes. Ah, darn. Just to prevent the hull from being scraped, because that does damage it. Not a lot, but it does damage it. I'm just going to continue pushing it away. I'm going to just continue pushing the bow of the boat away from the dock. Alright, so that's that. The most annoying thing about Fort Aceryn is the fact that the cart guy is all the way up there. Alright, let's go ahead and run up here. And even though I've got plenty of food on board, I might just go ahead and stay here. Stay on some nice solid ground for a while. Whee! Okay, you, You, and you, and you. Alright, let's go ahead and sell the sulfur first, just because I don't want the value of the trade good going down. I don't really need money, but the more money I spend, the faster it will go down. So having a trade good definitely will help out in the long run. Alright, let's go ahead and unload the trout. For anybody watching, you do not have to group everything together like I do. I just do it for the sake of realism and OCD. This is a lot of trout. Alright. Let's sell the sulfur. And then we can go ahead and sell, deliver the mail, deliver the trout, deliver. Alright, so now all we have left is just the tools. Just wanted to make sure I had enough room to place everything down. Alright, and finally, the tools. Right, what does that bring our reputation up to? God, 18,000. It's going to take us a while to get to 60,000, because that was one of the longest journeys in the game, currently. And it only brought us up like 4,000. 4,000 points, or whatever you want to call it. Huh. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be where I call it a video, so I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to see more content from me, consider subscribing for the future videos. And until next time, guys, God bless, take care of yourselves. I will see you in the next video. Until then, this is your captain, signing out.